Imagine the events that would have to take place in your life to wind up in a pizza restaurant frantically yelling over and over, "I'm literally a liar. I'm literally a liar." All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. I hope you're doing well. So, folks, today we're going to talk about the two chunks of footage that Project Veritas posted that have turned out to be the most wild, bone-chilling, polarizing, censored, you name it, chunks of footage to be posted this year. It all starts when a man named Jordan Walker thinks he was going on dates with somebody. Who he was going on dates with was actually a journalist. Jordan Walker had his job listed on everything as Director of Strategic Operations and mRNA Scientific Planning at Pfizer. So he's on a date, they're having drinks, greasing the chain. Woo, let's get loose. You want to hear about my job at Pfizer? And here is some of the bone-chilling stuff that was said on the date. This is word for word. This video over on Twitter is closing in on 30 million views in a week. YouTube censored it because we're officially in the North Korea era over here. But so you got to go over on Twitter to watch this one. But here is some of the stuff that's said. Question from the journalist. Pfizer is ultimately thinking about mutating COVID? Answer, well, that is not what we say to the public. No. The Pfizer guy goes on, don't tell anyone this. You have to promise you won't tell anyone. 30 million views later. Oops. You have to promise you won't tell anyone. You know how the virus keeps mutating? Well, one of the things we're exploring is like, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we could create preemptively, develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, like, as you can imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating fucking viruses. You have to be like very controlled to make sure that this virus that you mutate doesn't create something like, goes everywhere. Which I suspect is the way the virus started in Wuhan, to be honest. Like, it makes no sense that this virus popped out of nowhere. Question, it sounds like gain of function to me. Answer, I don't know. It's a little bit different. I think it's different. It's like this. It's definitely not gain of function. Question, it sounds like it is. Answer, no, but directed evolution is very different. And then, as you can imagine, directed evolution, that phrase trended. Directive evolution even sounds like a science horror movie. Can you picture it? This summer, there's an accident at the lab. It shows someone in a white doctor's coat dropping a beaker. No! It shatters on the floor. All the doctors in the laboratory look at each other in horror. Then it cuts to the president in the Oval Office talking on the phone. What do you mean it's too late? Then it cuts to outside on the street. Everybody's running around in total panic. Windows are being broken. Everybody's screaming and coughing and puking and pooping their pants. This summer, directed evolution. So that's from the date. Like I said, that video's closing in on 30 million views. So then the Project Veritas people, a couple nights later, caught up with the guy in a pizza shop. The date footage is going viral, and they go in with the camera crew to ask him follow-up questions about all the crazy stuff he said on the date. They have an iPad with the footage from the date on it, so then they all walk into this pizza restaurant. The Pfizer guy, Jordan Walker, is sitting there. He's got his pizza. He probably thinks it's just going to be a normal day. I'm sure he saw the date footage already, or actually don't know exactly the timeline of it, but he's sitting there at a pizza restaurant thinking it's just going to be a normal night, and all of a sudden he's got a film crew asking him, hey, did you say that Pfizer's thinking about mutating the virus? And as we know from this channel, watching 10 million interrogations, the way somebody reacts when confronted, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? The way someone acts can say a lot about how serious it is, how big of a deal that the whole thing is. If the Pfizer guy would have sat there and said, "Are you guys kidding me? You're really trying to make something out of nothing. Everything I said is unfortunately very normal. You guys have made this nothing burger into a 4-course meal and you're eating it up. So why don't you get the hell out of my face and let me eat my pizza?" But that is not how the Pfizer guy, Jordan Walker, reacted. They came in calmly and said, "Hi, we'd like to ask you a couple questions," which is fair. If you're a director at Pfizer and you're saying, "That's not what we tell the public, don't tell anyone this. Promise me you won't tell anyone this." If you're saying stuff like that and someone happens to record it, you can't be that mad if you get asked a couple follow-up questions. It's not outside of the realm of possibility by any means. So he's sitting there at the table. The Project Veritas crew comes in. He's asked, "Hey, did you say all this bone-chilling stuff?" And the Pfizer guy, his first strategy, he has a number of wild strategies that he tries to navigate this truly remarkable situation he's found himself in that we're going to go through. But the first one is he stands up and he says, "Is this real life?" That's when you know it's not going well for you, when you're in a pizza restaurant being filmed by multiple cameras and your first reaction is this real life? And then, probably my favorite one, he launches into "Bro, I'm literally a liar. I'm literally a liar." There's something very surreal and funny about this. Is not some nutso off the street that's in the pizza restaurant making a scene. This is a director at a big pharma company standing in a pizza restaurant trying to get through this situation by frantically going, "I'm a liar." That says a lot about how big of a deal this guy thinks this whole thing is. He's not going, "Come on, you guys, this is stupid. I have no comment," and just calmly walking out. The way he's saying, "I'm a liar," it almost looks like he's afraid for his life, like they're going to come for him. "You said too much, Jordan Walker." So he's yelling that he's a liar. The whole thing even gets more surreal. And then he goes into "I must be a victim. I don't know how I'm a victim, but surely I have to be a victim in this whole thing." So he goes through "I'm calling the police" phase of this whole thing, which is also a little bit ridiculous because nothing is happening to him. Again, it's understandable with the position that you hold and the things that you've said. It's only normal that you're going to be asked a couple follow-up questions, sir. And so he's wildly calling the police. "I need the police here. There are people here asking me questions." And I think the dispatcher at one point asked, "Is anyone being hurt?" And he has to be like, "No, but they're here and they're filming me." And he keeps saying over and over again, "This is absurd. What is happening here? This is absurd. You can't just film people like that. This is absurd." And what actually is absurd, not that being asked questions about the bone-chilling corruption, but what is absurd is he's on the phone with the cops saying, "I need the police here. I'm scared for my life." He goes on, but also as the whole thing goes, the Project Veritas people realize he's not going to answer any of these questions, so they want to leave. But for some reason, the owner of this pizza restaurant, who seems like maybe she knows the Pfizer guy a little bit, or she doesn't know really what's going on, she's kind of running around frantically. The Pfizer guy, who is on the phone with the cops going, "I need the police here. I feel unsafe. At one point he says to the restaurant owner, "What if they kill me?" But also, then he'll snap into a totally different persona and goes, "Don't let them leave." So he's on the phone with the police going, "I need the police. I feel unsafe." And then the Project Veritas, "All right, we're going to leave. Don't let them leave. No, you can't let them leave. I want them to be here so when the police get here." And so it's this absurd back and forth of, I fear for my life, but the people that are making me fear for my life, do not let them leave. He kind of goes full like crazy guy, like, don't let them leave. I need help, but don't let them leave. I want to be locked in the room with the people that are making me feel unsafe. And they quickly end up, I think, getting themselves in some unlawful, what's the charge? Unlawful detainment. You can't lock people that are asking, hey, they're calmly asking, can you unlock the door? We want to leave. Don't let them leave. Ma'am, we're locked in. What? We'd like to leave. Don't let them leave. I'm scared for my life. And in between each strategy, so first he goes, I'm literally a liar, and that doesn't work. In between, he goes back and he hides by the bathroom. There's an ATM back there. So he goes and stands by the bathroom a little bit, pulls himself together, regroups, and he'll go on to the next strategy. So after the I'm literally a liar strategy, then he gets this wave of confidence that he's going to go, okay, I'm going to go out there and say, I'm going to sue you. So he comes charging from back by the bathrooms and the ATM. He goes, you messed up. He's got this new air of confidence about him. You messed up. You really messed up. I'm going to sue you. Then the confidence wanes as he gets close to the interviewer, and he realizes, I think, I'm not going to sue anybody. This is not going to work. So then he pops back into the unconfident. This is absurd. What is happening? This is totally absurd. And then he goes back, and he is hanging again by the bathrooms. And again, probably between like 30 and 50 times, the journalists are asking, can you unlock the door? We'd like to leave. And one of them goes, can we take our check? The journalists were in there eating too before they all turn the cameras, and they say, we'd like to ask you some questions. So they go, can we have our check? All in a calm, non-threatening tone, not deranged at all, not threatening at all. It's like, can we have our check? And the Pfizer guy goes, no, don't give them their check. I want them to be here. I want to be in the room with the people that are making me feel unsafe. And then again, he gets this wave of confidence that he goes, okay, I'm going to flip the tables on the journalists. I'm going to get my phone out and go up to them and just go, and maybe try to get some footage of them that makes them look bad, I think was the strategy. So he starts filming, and he charges them again with his phone out going, I thought I was on dates. They tricked me. I thought I was on dates. But then the guy from Project Veritas just has the iPad of the date footage right there. So he just goes, well, we have footage of you saying that you're going to mutate COVID. Are you guys doing that? And that's not what the Pfizer guy wants. He doesn't want to film the life-ruining footage that he said on the date. So then again, he just, that strategy peters out, and he falls back into, this is absurd. What is happening? And then one of the things he goes, why are you doing this to someone who just is working for a company to literally help the public? And he sort of summed up why they would be in there asking him questions. Exactly. That's why we're doing it. It's because you work for this very powerful company and you said all this stuff. That's why we're in here asking you questions. And he goes, I'm a real person. All right, that's fair. No one's arguing that. And then probably my favorite part is the Pfizer guy then takes his phone, which he's filming. So everybody is filming at this point. The door is locked. They're asking to leave. He's on phone with the cops. The employees of the pizza restaurant are still just calmly making pizza, which the whole thing is so surreal and bizarre at this point. It's almost something out of a David Lynch movie. The Pfizer guy is yelling, I'm literally a liar. I'm a real person. Everybody's got their phones out filming. The restaurant owner is running around with their head cut off, locking the door. He's on the phone with the police saying, I feel unsafe. Don't let them leave. The people are calmly making pizzas. I mean, what a scene we have here. And then it really turns up a notch, which the guy from Pfizer, like a maniac, all of a sudden violently grabs and takes the iPad. Give me that. And the funny thing about he grabs the iPad, then it's full pandemonium. Everyone's wrestling for the iPad. He spikes the iPad on the hard brick floor. It sounds like it smashes. And then someone from the crew grabs the iPad back from him, and they're scuffling. And the way he grabbed the iPad, it seemed like he thinks that's the only place the footage exists. Like, if I can just grab that iPad, that's the only place. The video that's already online getting 25 million views on Twitter, that's the only place exists. I'll just take the iPad. So he wildly grabs the iPad. You can't do this. I'm a real person. This is absurd. He slams the iPad. They get into a scuffle. While they're scuffling, the Project Veritas people are just saying over and over again calmly to the restaurant owner, ma'am, can you please unlock the door? Can you please unlock the door? Can you please unlock the door? They're wrestling for the iPad. You can't do this. Man, would you please unlock the door? Would you please unlock the door? And then finally, she unlocks the door, and you can hear the crew going, all right, we're gonna leave. This is remarkable. We are out here in New York City. That was the craziest reaction we've ever had in Project Veritas history. And so a part of the Project Veritas crew leaves, and a couple of cameramen stays. I think they want to see what the Pfizer guy's reaction when the cops got there. So then the next shot of the Pfizer guy is he's in the street like a raving lunatic, blocking cars that have nothing to do with the situation. But the Pfizer guy thinks that the car has the journalist that just confronted him in the pizza shop in it. So he's out in the street like a lunatic, stopping cars. Hey, stop! The cops are here! And this is a moment, again, it's hard to imagine Jordan Walker, the Pfizer guy, waking up that morning thinking, just a normal day, gonna get pizza a little bit later, and you wind up in the street blocking off cars. Stop. They're like, no one is even a part of this situation in the car. Imagine being in that car being like, who is this guy? And the police come, and the Pfizer guy runs up to the police after. You got to think that locking someone in is unlawful detainment. He assaulted by grabbing the iPad. What is it? Vandalism or assault by spiking the iPad that he took. They're scuffling. Many things that the Pfizer guy did could have landed him in jail for a while. Serious charges, especially the unlawful detainment. And so he runs over to the cops. I'm a victim. I got to tell you all about it. And then the next shot is the cop talking to the Project Veritas guy being like, they had watched the footage and being like, yeah, pretty much saying if you wanted to arrest the guy, if the reporter wants to come back and have the Pfizer guy arrested, he could. Doesn't sound like the Project Veritas people wanted to press charges, even though their iPad got slammed and they got locked in. Can you let us out? Ma'am, can you unlock the door? Over and over again. And it's wild to think about how much worse the Pfizer guy, he probably went home and was just sitting on his couch going, oh my God. Because the date footage is really bad, but the pizza restaurant footage, this is absurd. I'm literally a liar. Give me the iPad. Don't let them out. I feel unsafe. The whole thing is truly unbelievable. And it's going to be really interesting what he does next. I can't imagine that Pfizer's going to keep him on. It's truly life-changing footage. The way he handled it was absolutely terrible. He could have just said no comment and walked out of the pizza shop and really done himself a favor. The total pizza shop meltdown of 2022. Wild stuff. I'm going to cut it off there. I love you all. See you next time. Why? Stiven, why? Shamida.